Broadcasting from the Penguin Air Plumbing and Electrical Studios, we are your hosts, Will Hallett and Wade Rusk, and this is the Penguin Pro Show. The Penguin Pro Show is an informative podcast talking about air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and electrical systems in the home. Each week, we bring on a panel of professionals to educate listeners on certain topics related to these systems. Well, this is going to be a quick episode. We just want to give an update on the shortage issue that's happening in the industry and all over different industries. We wanted to bring in Jay Klein, GM here at Penguin Air Plumbing and Electrical, and Robert Hallett. If that name sounds familiar, yes, he is my brother. I wish we could go into longer, a little bit, Jonathan, about Bobby's background.
But by all means, take a couple minutes. I mean, Bobby's a great member of the team, so let's talk about Bobby a little bit.
Okay, we'll take 2 minutes.
Yeah,
that's probably all it's going to take, right, Bobby? So he goes by Bobby, always has. But we'll be professional on the show today and call you Robert.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You're professional.
Yes.
Not your stage name, Bobby.
So am I supposed to talk about myself now for 2 minutes?
Well, let's see here. So let me kind of introduce Bobby a little bit. Bobby actually was in the Marine Corps for, 13 years?
Yeah.
So ex-Marine, kind of like Wade.
Yeah.
Right? Wade did his 4 years. Bobby did his 13.
Yeah, I'm not a number.
Yeah, you outdid him by quite a while.
Yeah.
And you want to talk a little bit about that? We, of course, the American flag's right behind us. We love our veterans. Appreciate your service. You know, being your older brother, I've always looked up to you, even though you're a little brother, right?
Sure, thank you.
I mean,
I look up to you too.
That goes way back in our family. Both our grandfathers were colonels in the Army Air Corps, which became the Air Force. In fact, on my wall in my office, I stole. Kelly doesn't know this, our older sister. I took it out of her house. I should tell her, right?
Well, she's going to find out now if she listens.
Yeah.
I know she's not going to listen. So I have all my grandfather Hallett did 50 bombing runs over the Pacific, over New Guinea area and over by Australia. And I have all his bombing runs. He wrote them all down. It's really cool. But Bobby, his dream was to fly too, but his eyesight kind of got in the way, right?
Yeah. Actually got that corrected in the Marine Corps, of all things. Yeah, I got my eyes fixed.
So that
I could see
that was your dream. But
glasses.
Talk a little bit about those 13 years.
I was actually trying to fly, and one of my last times of flying was the day before 9/11. And then flying got really hard, and the airspace was pretty much closed down. And I moved to go to Utah to learn to fly a little bit more, but it just proved to be kind of expensive, and I got a little frustrated, and I started watching the news like everybody was during that time, and I said, maybe I'll do that because that looks appropriate right now for the times. So I did that for 13 years. I stayed in a logistical movement of like basically large-scale movements. That's what I did for big units that would deploy or move around. And then I became a chief warrant officer, and shortly in that time frame I got hurt. I always had bad knees, and I had to get out of the way because I just wasn't recovering as fast as I could. So they medically retired me, and I've been still kind of staying in the realm of what I do, which is getting things as fast as I can and keeping logistics and the company rolling in the background.
Yeah, you do a great job, and that's why when you did retire, I wanted to jump on the opportunity to get you over here. And even though we're brothers, we work great together. Bobby does have that great organizational logistics side. I know you don't talk about this much, but you did go to Iraq and over the Middle East, 2-3 times?
Yeah. I went to Afghanistan and Iraq, and then I did a bunch of times on a ship called a Marine Expeditionary Unit, where Marines deploy on ships and they stay at the ready out there. And, pretty much everybody goes over to the Middle East. Every MU does. That's Marine Expeditionary Unit, MU.
MU.
And yeah, and I don't know. I think we do work together too. I think that something that I learned in the Marine Corps is you make friends. Friends get promoted, and they're your boss. And my brother's my boss, and I learned that the best way to treat that is to separate those. And boss is boss, brother is brother. So a lot of times I look at you as my boss at work. Every now and then I'll say, "Hey, what's up? How's things? How's family?" But I try to make sure that I keep that, because it's not just for us. I know optics wise, I don't want to ever make that like, Jay's my boss.
Yeah, Jay's your boss. I'm not your boss. I'm just kind of.
Well, you're the boss.
I hate the boss, but I get
The
it.
boss.
I get it.
The boss.
The boss.
But it's fun having you here. There's a big project going on right now here at Penguin. We've always wanted to get our inventory under control. Bobby's been working on that for almost a year now, it seems like.
Yeah.
But that's a big project to undertake, and I just can't wait to see the finished product there, and that's going to make us more efficient. That's going to make us be able to have those parts on those trucks and vans at the ready when we go out to those homes. So excited about that. I know Jay's been working hand in hand with
Yeah,
Bobby
like when
on
you
that.
say get inventory under control, it's like it's. I mean, we're talking Bobby's. We have bins that we've got a ton of them in a room over there where he's literally going through, and I mean, the smallest fittings have their own little spot that's labeled in its own bin, and then these bins will now fill the truck. So it's going to be really sweet once it's done, and just make everything easier, more efficient, and better for the customer, making sure that when they get there, they have that part. We're not having to worry about them, dig through a box and hope they have it or something like that. They'll know it's there, and then when it's not there, it'll be restocked for them, through the setup that he has. So
Yeah, so for your customers and listeners, that's why we want to make sure they win when we're out there at the home. We have the product where those vans are the store, right? So I've always wanted that. I came from a company, George Brazil. George Brazil was all about that. The George Brazil. Learned that from him, and I told Bobby when he came in that that's what I wanted, and Bobby's making that happen. So very excited about that. On the inventory piece, I know this was supposed to be a quick little episode, but we do want to give an update to you listeners, homeowners, what's going on in the industry. It's countrywide. It's not just here in the Valley. We're having a major shortage of parts, material, and, of course, equipment. So a little concerning. Today I sat down with one of our coordinators and said that we are getting really close to running out of equipment. So I thought, let's get on and talk about that. Let's talk about the windows, what customers should expect going forward, what they should be doing now to prepare for that. So, Jay, what are you hearing in the industry? What's going on? What's going to look for July, August? Get through this summer?
This is something we talked about at the beginning of the year. Talked about it with the manufacturers. Have talked about it. I mean, heck, we had Channel 3 and 5 in here doing kind of an interview with us talking about this, and we knew it was going to come. We knew that it was eventually going to hit at some point this summer. We've done everything we can to get ahead of it, stocking our warehouse. Ordering a ton of units, everything we could get, we're trying to get. But it's finally hitting a point where, we're struggling to get certain pieces of equipment, certain parts, and certain, refrigerant or freons, whichever way you want to say it. We can't find them. Like, parts houses in the Valley are completely out. And sometimes Bobby and I joke a little bit because we don't want to be the toilet paper people, so to say,
I know what you mean.
Of COVID and stuff, but we have been. I mean, we're if we can find it at parts houses, I mean, we've given our guys green lights. Bobby sends out a list all the time, what we're looking for, what we need to make sure that our customers are taken care of, through the summer. And so he's putting a list out there. He messages it out to the guys regularly. And if they get to a parts house that has them, man, we're snatching up whatever we can, because it's getting tight out there and it's getting tough. And we just want to make sure that we're able to be there to provide service for the homeowners. But there are going to be some things that, equipment especially, that we're not going to be able to get. It's going to be a 2-week wait, something like that. And now we're going to do our best to get that customer some temporary cooling, so to say, if their unit's down, and say it's even a bigger repair where it's a $1,000 repair, but they don't want to put the money into an older unit. They'd rather replace it. Well, Penguin's going to take it on itself we're going to fix that unit, get it going for them temporarily, kind of put a Band-Aid on it just to get them by until that unit can get in stock, whether it's 2 weeks, a month. and we're going to eat that cost because we know that we can't expect somebody in the valley in July to not have air conditioning for 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, people
right?
can die. This is a serious problem.
It's been a very hot summer already too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
It's been
the
amazing.
summers are getting hotter and hotter, and to have this pandemic, which caused this issue with parts, all these manufacturers had to shut down for a couple weeks. So Bobby, on your end, have you ever seen anything like this? You being in logistics supply?
I mean, I've always, no matter what, you always see a shortfall, but you usually see it in one particular commodity, and then that gets backfilled, and then the other one starts up, and it varies. But I think this is the biggest one because you have to understand it's global. It's a global problem that people are talking. Maybe as far as 2022, you might see some relief from that. Some are being more catastrophic and saying it's further out than that even. But I think viewers should understand that a ship going sideways in the Suez Canal has a huge effect on it. It's not just the stuff that's on that ship; it's everything that was behind that ship. It's ports of entry.
Ports of entry I heard is a big problem.
Yeah. Well, like I say,
aluminum and all these materials.
Yeah, I mean, you just bring up the ship getting sideways in the canal there. The ripple effects are still there now. There's still ships waiting outside, outside of California.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Long
just-
Beach.
And they can't get into the
Domino.
port. Right? They can't get into the port because now all of a sudden, they had no ships, and then now all of a sudden all these ships are coming through, and they're still slowed down due to COVID. They're still running at limited capacity over there, so they're not able to process as many ships coming in. So yeah, it's just the ripple effects that we're having from so many things, including like Bobby's getting ready to go into a lot of the metal shortages, and it's tough.
So yeah, if you can't make it from the very beginning because you don't have material, then we're seeing that because our vendors, which really just receive that made product, are trying to get it just as fast as we are taking it off the shelf. I mean, really, as soon as it arrives, it's gone, and so that's why we're hoarding a little bit, and that's not ever what we did before. If people want to understand what it was before, it was we didn't want anything in our warehouse. Warehouse was excuse me.
Busy guy.
Didn't know I had that on. Anyway, so we would contact our vendor. Vendor would deliver. Done. Over. And nobody really, we're not the only ones that do that. So now, unaccustomed to it, we're having a forklift that we never had before. We have units in here that we never really stocked before.
Never.
And we're putting parts out there as much as we can. And then some guys are just having to go to the parts house and fish around, like Jay said.
Yeah, I heard some manufacturers are 6 to 8 weeks out. I mean, that literally puts you out through the summer right now. So, yeah, it is that ripple effect. I think that we can tell people we have all these systems in here, but they're probably going to be gone in a couple weeks if we don't get more in
Yeah,
here.
I mean, talking
So-
to our install manager, she says that probably within the next 2 weeks, our supply that we have in-house will be gone. And then we'll be, trying to see whatever we can get from whatever manufacturer. We have a few deals out there with them trying to get equipment if we can. And, something that hasn't even been brought up yet is still the shortage on the microchips, which is playing a huge factor on a lot of this stuff as well. And
Oh, really? Even in our industry.
yeah, they're just the small microchips that go on everything, go on boards and vehicles, and they're just setting stuff way back. And that started with a lot of the work at home stuff, with these microchip companies now selling to computer companies and this kind of stuff because people are now having to outfit their home offices. So they're starting to sell there. So they transfer the money and their product over to that side because they can get a little bit more money for it. And now the industry is shorted. Vehicles are shorted. We're already told that we need to order vehicles at least a year out. Yeah,
9 months out.
to have them for next year.
Yeah.
So it's like I say, it's just this huge snowball effect with so many things that are going into play with it, and they're all just coming together like this perfect storm that is really making things. Like I say, Bobby says, he hasn't ever seen it this worse, this bad, and I by no means have ever seen it this bad.
But that's why I'm glad that Bobby's on our team.
So
Right.
so Tom will have a laptop to work from home on, but it'll be 102 degrees in his house because his AC won't be able to run.
That's pretty much it. And
Right.
I don't know if the listeners know too. There's a huge multi-million-dollar microchip facility going in here in Phoenix now.
Yeah, I heard that up north.
right here in the valley, and that's to help combat that. But yet again, that's going to be 3 to 4 years out before they're even hitting the market. They're just starting groundbreaking on that facility.
And they're trying to build in this time of logistics nightmares where they're not being able to get the same stuff to build their facility like they used to be.
Yeah, wood, metal, everything. Yeah, it's just crazy. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm glad that we have the experience that we have, and the proactiveness that we took. June was one of the hottest months. It started off pretty mild, but we see what we've been able to do in June. Hopefully we can maintain that for our customers' sake and be able to serve them. That's our number one, right? That's our number one concern, is making sure that people are safe in their homes, that they have cooling. I mean, the elderly, those people that might get stranded in their homes. I read the other day that hotel rooms are getting booked up here in the Valley, like they've never been booked up before because of all the ACs going out. So this is a problem. We're going to make sure that we're on top of it. I don't know how long that's going to be out. We can't predict that. 2022, that's the first time I'm hearing that. So, or longer, which is a little scary, right? So, especially for what we do. But the temporary cooling, we got to let our homeowners know that we are doing temporary cooling. What we're doing, and you might want to go into this, Jay, is if we replace a unit that is still kind of cooling but on its last legs, we're keeping those, right?
Yeah, we're keeping them. Sometimes even doing a little refurbished job on them, changing out a few small components to make sure they're up and running. Just so if a customer has a major component failure in their unit, we can honestly even put in this temporary older unit just to get them by yet again for that 2 weeks, a month, get them by until we can get that new system in for them so that they have cooling, so that they have that relief. Because, yet again, for a homeowner, 2 weeks, 4 weeks isn't even feasible in a hotel. 1, 2 nights maybe, but, nobody can, afford to and try and live out of a hotel for that long.
And you'd be living with relatives. Who wants to do that? Right?
Yeah. Says the two relatives here.
Oh, Bobby and I know. We get along great, but I don't know if we want to live in
Don't
the
live
same house
together,
for a month.
We're desperate, maybe.
Yeah.
That's fine. So is there anything else that we need to kind of talk about over?
Real quick, you two had a conversation this morning. Will and I had to run a quick errand, and you two had a conversation regarding a customer that called in. And I want you to touch a little bit on one of the other commodities that we find ourselves short on this time of year. That's one of our most valuable commodities. And Jay, you're shaking your head over there, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So touch on that a little bit.
Just even the common little part.
Well, what Jonathan's referring to is people. We're in this area right now, and it was a customer I talked to. She was a great lady. We had a great conversation this morning. Stopped into the office, and she had some concerns, and her concerns were, if my unit fails, she sees reports, hears on how far some of these companies are out. If my new unit fails, can you get to me? Do you have enough guys? And of course, I was honest with her that we'll never have enough guys. The people shortages right now are a huge struggle as well. With trying to get people in what we call the trades, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. Trying to find good skilled people in the trades has been a struggle. And I know we kind of did a little recruiting podcast not too long ago. We were talking about this, but that's definitely one of the larger struggles that we have as well. Is like everybody knows, in the Valley in the summer, heck, we could fill every truck we had plus more with technicians and still not get to everybody right away when they call in when their AC's broke. Like it's just overwhelming, and there's nothing that we could do. But we try and do our best. But yeah, we're always looking for great people. If anybody knows anybody out there, we're always looking for great people to join the team.
Win with Penguin.
There we go.
Yeah, and we'll train you from the ground up too here at Penguin. You can start as right off the street, and we'll put you in a 6-week program and train you through our system and learn the right way to do everything.
Yep.
So that's a good point. There's not just a shortage on parts and equipment, but shortage of labor, which is causing a lot of this as well.
Yep.
So, Bobby, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
I know that we've always wanted to get you on here to talk about. Maybe we'll get Jonathan. We need to get him on more and talk about a story a little bit. Interview.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Those are more important than
In-depth
these
exposé.
shortages.
Yeah, most definitely. Which appreciate your service, by the way.
Yeah. So let's get this out to everybody. And if you guys like this episode, go ahead and comment. Go ahead and subscribe too. Hit that subscribe button right now so that you can get these every week. We're gonna not only talk about stuff in the industry, but the interview parts is where we interview our employees. You'll really like and get to know these people more and what we're all about here at Penguin. Winning with Penguin is our number one goal, like we talked about last week. So I appreciate you guys, everything you guys do, and caring for Penguin and caring for our customers. So thanks for coming on, and let's win with Penguin.
Win with Penguin.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good week.